I recently got into Warhammer and I am absolutely loving it. Even though I haven't played a game yet, I have thoroughly enjoyed painting and building the models. There's also a ton of exciting lore to get into, so no matter what, there's something for you if you decide to begin this hobby. Now, that being said, Warhammer is a very expensive game to get into. So in this video, I'm going to share exactly how much I have spent on Warhammer so far. That way you can make a decision on whether or not you want to get into the hobby for yourself. Now, as a quick disclaimer, I am a Canadian, but I will list all the prices in this video in US dollars. In order to participate in Warhammer, you're going to need models, so let's start there. I decided to purchase the Lumineth Realm Lords Vanguard box for $140, and this came with 26 different models, including a Cenari Cathalar, 5 Venari Blade Lords, 10 Orlan Wardens, and 10 Orlan Sentinels. I also bought the battletome for the Lumineth Realm Lords for $55, and this comes with a ton of lore for the faction, as well as painting guides and rules for all of your units. It's a very nice hardcover book, and there is a ton of cool information in it. It's not totally necessary immediately if you just want to build and paint, but I highly recommend that you purchase your battletome as soon as you've picked your faction. With both of those purchases together, the total I have spent on my army so far is $195 US. If you are interested in playing 40k instead of Age of Sigmar, then the combat patrols, which are the game's equivalent of the vanguards, are going to cost about $20 more. However, the codexes, which are the game's version of Age of Sigmar's battletomes, will still be $55. However, while buying a combat patrol or a vanguard will give you a savings greater than if you bought all the different units individually, some people do recommend that you start by buying a single unit at a time so that you can spread out all of your building and painting rather than having a mountain of models to assemble and paint, which could be a little bit stressful for a new player. I also recommend trying out the model plus paint sets that they sell for 40k and Age of Sigmar. They run for about $35, but you get multiple models to paint as well as a set of paints and a brush. The value is there, and it will actually let you know if you enjoy building or painting these models. The kits come with push-fit models, so you don't have to buy any glue to put them together, but you will need some nippers or something to cut off the pieces from the plastic. Once you have your model kit, you'll need some supplies in order to build it. The bare minimum will be nippers for cutting the model pieces off of the sprue. You can find these for $15 on Amazon. A hobby knife for cleaning up the leftover plastic on the piece from the sprue, which could be about $10 to $20 on Amazon or at your local game store. And glue to put these pieces together to create your model. And I bought Tamiya extra thin cement from my local game store for $6. You might also want things like a file, tweezers, a scraping tool, etc. But just to start, the above is all that you're really going to need. All in all, this is going to run you about $30 to $40 depending on where you get your materials from. We're going to talk about painting next, and this is the part where it can really add up. I've spent roughly $100 US on paints and brushes so far, and that includes the Space Marine starter set that I bought in order to test whether or not I'd actually enjoyed the hobby. So I went to my local art supply store and I purchased 3 brand new paintbrushes, sizes 0, 1, and 2, and I also have about 14 different paints. I also bought a Citadel Gray Spear priming spray for $30 to prime my models before painting them, which is highly recommended. Finally, I've purchased about 14 pots of paint, but again, 6 of these came in my Space Marine trial box. To give you an idea, a pot of paint is going to cost between $5 to $10 depending on what type it is. You can look into other brands like Vallejo, as they come highly recommended by many players and they are often cheaper. You can also consider contrast paints as a beginner, because while these are more expensive, you get a lot more value out of the ease of application, but also the fact that it provides a lot of the layering work for you by flowing into the recesses and shading your model without you having to do any extra steps. I currently have enough paint now to complete my entire vanguard with a relatively simple color scheme. And as I said, the total for all of my paints so far is about $103 American. Now, I have one more set of costs to talk about, but before that, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far, and I appreciate any support. After you have your models, paints, and hobby supplies, you are off on your way to enjoying your Warhammer journey. However, there are other materials that you may have to purchase. So let's talk about the other things that I have bought. The following items are very cheap, but worth picking up. Sticky tack costs $2 at your local Walmart and will be effective for temporarily attaching models to a holder for painting or to something for priming. I also purchased a paint mixing stick for $1.39, and this lets me prime 5 models simultaneously. Then, to help me create realistic bases for my models, I purchased aquarium gravel for $6, static grass for $6, dollar store acrylic craft paints and for my bases, which were $1 each, and Mod Podge glue for $1. I also picked up some sand from my local beach and I baked it at 350 for 30 minutes to sterilize it, and I used this sand in the creation of my bases. With all of these costs put together, the grand total that I have spent on Warhammer so far is $333.62 USD. This might seem like a lot of money, but at this point I'm just looking to add the occasional model to my collection and maybe some extra paints to expand my range. Models take a while to build and even longer to paint, so this hobby will provide long-term value to you, and we're not even talking about playing the game yet. So personally, I would recommend checking out the Warhammer hobby, trying out one of those trial paint sets, and seeing for yourself if it's something that you'd like to get into. So that's it. Are you surprised at how much it cost, or maybe you already kind of had an idea of what to expect? So let me know, are you interested in starting Warhammer? Let me know in the comments, and if you're an experienced player watching this video, please also share your insight down below so that I and other new players or potential players can learn from your years of wisdom. Otherwise, consider liking and subscribing, as this is a brand new channel and all of your support means so much to me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope it was useful for you, and I'll see you all soon enough in another video.